So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome back. Let me do a mic check here. Yes, it is working. How's everybody doing? We are about 30 minutes, a little bit less from market close. And when the GameStop earnings drop, we'll go through that with you. Until then, we're just going to hang out, see what questions you guys have. GameStop right now trading down on the day, 1% at $14.75. I was watching Palantir today. Man, I had puts on Palantir that I sold for a profit yesterday. I should have held them another damn day. Palantir down 6% today to 1720. But like I said last night, I'm trying to get better at taking profits on those options and not being greedy. So it is what it is. We can't live our life looking back, right? So funny, 37. Good afternoon, Shinkyoku. Good afternoon. So funny says scientists reveal that Parkinson's is caused by bacteria in the gut. I'm going to have to look that up. That would be a very, very cool breakthrough if that is true. Let's, Christ is King says GameStop has a short squeeze score of 91. First time over 90 since 2021. Let's see what the Ortex looks like. Haven't looked at it today. Mr. King. GME. It is looking like 24%. Holy smokes. Well, it's going to be an interesting day today then, right? Whatever happens, if earnings come out and beat expectations and some of these shorts end up covering, that would bode well for the longs. 24% is pretty hefty. The options market, it looks like, is betting heavily on GameStop. I noticed the volatility was up. I have some options in play on earnings today. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they've doubled since I bought them yesterday. And I'm sitting here as we're winding down the day. Should I take the easy layup and sell for 100% gain right now? Or should I wait and see if my thesis on the price direction is correct and maybe get more than a 2x bagger? What was he just saying? What was he just saying about he's trying to get better at taking profits? I know. There is no earnings call, Mr. Rocket. There's no earnings call. They're just going to drop the news, which to me is a little bit bearish. I don't know how you guys are taking that. I would think that if you have good news to share or a plan about what you're going to do, that you might want to get on the phone with some analysts, maybe with the press, and let them hear you speak. So that is concerning to me, but it is what it is. We'll deal with the results when they drop them, good or bad. Bill A 87, what's up, my friend Anya T in the house? Thank you for stopping in and helping us mod the channel today, Anya. Fat Lip says, Ape Father is going to lead GameStop to the moon this weekend in New York City. Are you talking about SantaCon? Did 8 Father confirm he's going to Santa Con? I can't wait to see your guys' pictures from that. What's up, Ludwig? Good afternoon. Good evening to you, David, in the UK. As I always say to Dan Spencer, hello, governor. He's like, Tony, that's not a British accent. I know. I know. Let's see how some other stocks are doing today while we're here and waiting. So Palantir got run down all day. Let's look at some other retail stocks. I posted 2 days ago about Shot, the little blood alcohol recovery drink. As it ran up, we called this one out at $3. Ran up to almost $7, and then I posted it in the Discord that I expected it to go down. And so that was a good call. It's fallen 50% since we posted that alert that it's probably topping out. Now trading at $3.55. Mullen, I saw that there was a new lawsuit filed today on behalf of Mullen in regards to spoofing. So I'll have to follow up on that. Highcroft Mining is down 0.5% today. We're not really worried about that one. GTII, another retail darling in some circles, approaching a new 52-week low. I was doing a little bit of checking up on one of the GTII lawsuits. Most of the defendants that the company was suing via West Christian, most of them have been dismissed, voluntary dismissal with prejudice, over the past couple months. Just a random thing I was checking on today. The partner of GTII, the one everybody seems to be investing in together. By the way, I'm not advocating any of these plays. I'm just providing retail updates. The partner that people are praying is going to unearth the mother of all short squeezes, FNGR, also down on the day, 1%. And that stock has been literally doing nothing for about 2-3 weeks now. Just trading in range at $4. Cinemark slightly green on the day today. And AMC slightly red on the day, down 2.8%, $6.83. Ludwig says, I hope GameStop will save us poor AMC investors. If it's certainly true, if GameStop beats today, Ludwig, and starts running, you could see some sympathy move up in other meme stock plays, retail basket. We will see. We're getting close. Andre, good evening to you in Sverige, Sweden. Forever and Ape says the MMAT chart gives me a flashback of BBBY. Yeah. I don't remember if I've ever made a MMAT specific video because there was just never anything there for me to make a video about. But I got asked a lot about it over the past 2 years, and my answer was always the same. Not interested in this stock. The financials were not speaking to me. They weren't that great. And I know a lot of people wanted me to be excited about it because they probably bought in this run up, but there just was never anything there with MMAT. And it is unfortunate. Now trading from a high of almost $22 down to 6 pennies. That is rough. Joby Aviation trading at $6.34. The potential EV taxi company. I got some DD follow-up that I need to work on. Somebody asked me to to verify if Joby has ever tested their vehicle with people in it. I think that was the challenge. So I need to follow up on that. I got distracted with some other stuff. EV companies today in general have been doing well, other than Mullen. Polestar up 1.5%. RIVN up 5.5%. Tesla up almost 1%. And Lucid is up 4.6%. Although in general, they've all been under some pressure. And Fisker down another 10% today. This hurts, man. If you're in Fisker, these last few weeks have just been brutal. $6.20 down to $1.40. Whew. I have one EV play in play right now. It's puts on Lucid, and so far I have not made money on that play. But I still have time till expiration, so we'll see. Lucid's just, it's parked. I should have bet on Fisker, I guess. $13 minutes to the bell. Hydro Hustle says he's all in on GameStop. Good luck to you this afternoon. We'll be crossing our fingers for you. David says, have you ever done a video of how to read financials and what to be looking out for? I have, David. As you guys know, I'm not an accountant. I took accounting in school many years ago. But when you guys ask me to review a ticker and I pull up the financials, you see me talking about a few things. And if I'm doing a deep dive, I might spend half a day reading through 10 Qs, looking at the financials and reading all the risk disclosures, all the footnotes, all the debt structure. But if I'm just looking at something really quick, there's a couple of things that I look for. And so I made a video for you guys on that. For the income statement, it's about a 5-minute video. One for the balance sheet and one for the cash flow statement. So go check those out. I put those out about a year ago. And you don't need to be any sort of financial whiz to be able to tell in just a couple minutes if the company that you're considering is financially struggling or if you've got a solid play. And when do we look at those? If you're momentum trading, if you're day trading, you're holding it for a day or a couple days, that stuff might not matter. But if you're going to be holding it for weeks, months, or years, you're going to want to probably try and pick companies that have all green signals in the financials, right? Healthy, growing top-line revenue, growing profits, a solid balance sheet, all of these things. We can't just, we don't want to load up our portfolio with only companies that are losing money or have a broken balance sheet. Those are fun plays to speculate on, but they're not the foundation that's going to keep you here 5 years from now, unless we're really, really lucky. So that's one thing that I've tried to remind you guys from time to time. I know some of you are stuck, but as you're getting extra money, if you're wanting to continue investing, be looking for companies with a long history of profits. It's a little more boring. I get it. I own a bunch of them, and you're not gonna have an Apple or a McDonald's or a Target necessarily MOAS 300% in a week, but you sleep a lot better at night with that slow, steady growth. And what you ideally are looking for is a good entry on those plays. Even when they're solid companies, I'm still looking for what is the right time to buy in if I'm going to be holding it a long time. Pam the Trader, how you doing? Larry says, is anyone buying mining stock? Should be good for 2024. Yeah, that's a good question for the audience. I don't have any mining stocks right now, Larry, but can you clarify, are we talking crypto mining or metals mining for the folks in the audience? Because sometimes I make an assumption that you guys are talking about one, and then no, Tony, I didn't mean Highcroft, I meant Mara. Which mining are we talking about? All right, as we approach the 3 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock Eastern time, let's put up a poll. I'm just kind of curious what you guys think. Is going to happen. Start a poll. Simple question. After they drop the earnings, what is your expectation? There's no wrong answers here. What do you think is going to happen to the price today? I don't even care if they beat or miss. I just want to know, what do you think is going to happen with the price? Dylan says he's got calls and puts, hedging his bets, smart play. Have I seen the volume for the $11 puts for December 15th? I have not. But I have some options in play for this earnings, and I noticed the volatility was through the roof. I mean, the price has barely dropped since when I bought them yesterday, and my options value is up 100%. So somebody's buying these options. People are making bets. Which one are we looking at? The $11 puts. Holy smokes, man. 12,000. Yowza. All right, Larry's asking about metals. Is anybody buying metals? Larry, I did sign up for a database that is provided for a fee out there where I can sort through any metals company and do comparisons between them, mining company. So if you have some tickers that you want me to look into specifically, Larry, go into maybe like my last Highcroft video and leave me a comment with whatever tickers you're interested in. It was my intent when I signed up for that database to maybe start covering some mining stocks, mostly to get better informed for myself. What is a good mining stock? We've talked about Highcroft a lot. It's not the best necessarily mining stock out there because they're not mining, but everybody's buying it. And I'm saying to myself, why? Like, if you're interested in mining, maybe there's some mining companies that are actually mining that might be a better investment, but I simply don't know because I don't follow mining companies. So if you got some, don't drop it here in the comments because I'll lose it. But go in the comments of maybe my last Highcroft video and over the next year, I'd like to start doing some just general mining coverage. That'll be for those of you that are really interested in that. We can have some dialogue, and it's also for my own education. We'll be asking some tough questions. What is a good mining stock? How do you know what a good core sample really looks like? And I've been reaching out to some industry experts to get them on and have some talks with us to help everybody learn. Remember that, do you guys remember, any of y'all know a guy named Al from Boston? He was pushing a mining stock, well, yeah, about a year ago. CGRA. It's gonna go to the moon. CGRA. Because they were potentially investing in a lithium mine. CGRA's acquisition company that was trading at the time at like a fraction of a penny. It ran up 16x. So hat tip to anybody that played the momentum on that. But the company's been moving really slow in doing anything. And I do follow CGRA just out of mild curiosity on Twitter. And I see that they're about to drop some news on the status of their lithium mine. So keep your eye on that one. It's back down to a fraction of 1 penny. It's not even 1 penny. The cost is half of a penny. And who knows, guys? This is on these kind of little shitco momentum plays where you want to be in is when it's really, really freaking cheap. Who knows if they have some good news, if it goes up to a couple pennies or a dime. Or we could just lose it all, you know? You never know. Three minutes to the bell. Shin Kyoku said, is Al still around? I heard he put out a video today, Shin Kyoku. Yeah, he and one of his buddies are suing everybody under the sun regarding the AMC ape Brazilian synthetics spoofing. If you take everything you've heard over the last 2 years, Shin, and put it in one lawsuit, it's in their lawsuit. So that is happening, and he is still around, but he's hasn't been making that many videos. Is Mr. NYC still around? He is still around. I'm assuming you're talking about the guy that walks with ducks. The robot Godzilla. What else? Oh, my Ginsla. He's still around, but he's pushing XRP, crypto. Do I have XRP on here? I don't. Wonder if I can add XRP. XRP. Nope, not available on Webull. I don't really watch him that much, but I have watched enough over the past 3 months to know that in general he's pushing XRP with I don't know, the $1,000 price target sticks in my mind. Dylan says beat equals shorts cover, price target 40, miss, price target 10 to 6. I don't know the timeline. What's your timeline, Dylan, for $10 to $6? Would that be over after hours or over the next 4 weeks, say. All right, let me bring up GameStop's website. And I'm also going to bring up Twitter. And if you guys see that the news drops before I call it out here, feel free to shout at me in the comments. Larry says, "Have you come over to our dark side yet? Are you on the shorting team?" Larry says, "Have you come to our dark side yet and short any stocks?" Larry, I have never in my life shorted a stock, and still not. But I do watch some of the shorting YouTube channels and talk with people on Twitter just to learn. Mostly intrigues me, like, what are shorts looking for and why? And that's not because I want to short stocks, but because as a investor, I think it's important, even if you don't like what someone is saying, to evaluate their argument. And as an investor, if you're going to be making a bet on something and you think that the shorts are going to be, if you're going to make a bullish bet and you think the shorts are going to be attacking it, you probably ought to know why they're attacking it and where they think it's going to top out or what it's going to drop to. And so I'll just say, Larry, I've increased with that knowledge that I've accumulated over the last 2 years. Here in the last 6 months or so, I've put that to use and increased the times that I buy put options. Because I rarely buy put options either, but I've definitely increased the amount of put options I buy. And typically what I'm looking for is plays that have run up too much. Then you got to check the implied volatility, of course, and make some estimate about where you think they're going to drop to. And that's been working out for me. Not 100% of the time, but enough to make money. Like I was saying at the beginning of this live stream, I got to get better at pulling the trigger quicker. Because sometimes I'll be in the money for an hour or two, and then the play gets the retail momentum back again, and there go your profits, and now you're just got theta burn kicking in. Jay Brown says Tony works for the shorts. Oh man, oh man. I don't know if he's joking or not. But nobody pays me, guys. Everything you see here is my own opinion, my DD. Nobody pays me. And I literally spend all day researching stocks, talking to smart people, doing DD, reading financial statements, and trying to apply emotionless, non-conspiracy, critical thinking to whatever I'm investing in. And the more I do that, the better my results are. I'll just tell you that. Earnings are not out yet. I'm refreshing on GameStop's website and Twitter. And we'll know when they're out when you see a big move in the price. I do have a short bet on the SPY, Larry, also right now, but that's more hedging for the long positions in my portfolio than anything. Anya says, I haven't had to block anyone in quite a while. It has been nice. They're making it too easy for you, Anya. All right, the results are in. Let me pull this down. I know you want to see the price too, so I'm going to make this small. GameStop's trading down 4.5%. Net sales were 1.07 billion compared to 1.18 billion a year ago. SG&A expenses were 296 million, or 27% of net sales, compared to 32% a year ago. Net loss was 3.1 million for the period, compared to 94.7 million for the prior year's third quarter. So that is a healthy improvement. Very healthy improvement, but still a net loss. Cash and cash equivalents were 1.2 billion at the close of the quarter. And long-term debt remains limited to one low-interest unsecured term loan. That is, here we go. I was going to say, surely that's not all we got. And on another screen up here, I'm going to pull up stockanalysis.com just so I can look back faster and easier than this one period comparison that they have here. So a year ago, 1.186. Last quarter, Q2, is 1.164 billion on top line revenue, and now we're 1.078. So that's kind of in line with what I've been expecting. If you guys have been listening to the channel, a slight reduction in Q3, a slight miss, and then obviously we expect Q4 being their busiest quarter, that things will look better next quarter. Cost of sales, I want to look at operating loss was 14.7 million. Net loss 3 million. Did they beat estimates? Estimates were 9 cents negative per share, and it looks like they're saying negative 1 penny. So for me, that would be a beat. If someone disagrees, let me know. Let me pull up the general consensus too, just so. We can close this poll. 63% of you thought the price would go up, 37% thought it would go down. All right. Let me just refresh myself what the analysts were predicting. The average estimate was 1.18 billion, and they came in at 1.07. So that is a miss, a slight miss on top line revenue, and the average estimate for earnings was minus 8 cents, and they came in at minus 1. Cost of sales 73.9% versus 75.5% a year ago. making some improvements there. Really, as we know, if you've been paying attention to GameStop, they've been working very hard to cut costs and get to a point where they can have some profitable quarters. So most people that I've been reading and following and talking to, the vast majority, were not expecting that those cost measures would come to bear quick enough in Q3. It might take a couple quarters, including the cost of cutting benefits to employees and things like that. So I do expect that we will see some improvements. Although that would probably be an SG&A, not cost of sales. Let's see what else they got here for us. A decrease in receivables, a decrease in inventory compared to same quarter a year ago. Let's see how they were compared to last quarter. Receivables is up from last quarter from 75 million to 88.3 million. Inventory was at 676 million, and it is up to 1 billion. Now, and some people are going to say they're preloading for Christmas, and that quite possibly, probably, is true. Rest of the balance sheet on GameStop is in great shape. No debt, plenty of cash. Net cash flow from operating activities, $19 million versus 177 million a year ago. And let me look at last quarter up here. It was minus 109 million last quarter, so that is a good improvement on the operating cash flow. Sales mix, hardware 53%, software 29%, collectibles 16%, very comparable to the same quarter a year ago. I know there were some people looking for an increase in software. Doesn't look like we got that compared to where we were a year ago. On non-GAAP results, so everything we talked about was generally accepted accounting principles. The GAAP results, those will be what are filed with the SEC. As you guys know, often the company takes out certain things and gives you their adjusted non-GAAP earnings. And do we have on adjusted earnings a net income of positive $1 million. And basically 0 on your adjusted earnings per share instead of that negative whatever. What was it that we set up here? Negative 1 penny. So what do y'all think? Price is fairly stable, $14.64 after dropping down to $14.11 here in the first 15 minutes. Yeah, Captain Caveman, no conference call. today. Tech We Love says, overall sounds like an improvement for GME investors. I'm not one of them, but I wish them the best. I'm sure they appreciate that. Tech We Love, thank you. Frederick says, 6 hours ago, there were 0 shares available to borrow. As of an hour ago, they are at 400K, 400,000 shares available. June says, I will load GME at $11 to $12. That's kind of the price I'm thinking, June. When it was at $11.82, I was thinking about pulling the trigger here a week or so ago. And the chart, I was talking about this with one of our TA guys the other day. The chart looked like it wanted to keep going down from 1180. There was like 0 indication that the next day, the next 2 days, you're going to have this massive run up out of nowhere to $17. So I was trying to be patient and follow the TA on the chart in the moment to get in a really cheap buy, and it got whisked away from me. But I'm kind of there with you. Somewhere in that lower echelon of prices, I start getting comfortable buying GameStop. Frederick says, no debt and $1 billion in the bank makes you wonder why anyone would short. There's a lot of reasons why people would short, Frederick. I mean, we don't need to go back over all of this again. I'm sure people are tired of hearing the dying industry. Games are downloadable. The company is closing locations to cut costs. They're cutting wildly staff and benefits. That's signs of, on the one hand, they're doing what they need to do, but companies that are super, super healthy don't do those sort of things. So there is a case for the shorts, but you got to be open to looking at it. You can't just say, I don't understand why no one would short this. That's too short-sighted. I think to be good investors, we need to be willing to look at both, understand both, and then make your decision what you believe. And I'm not going to try and talk you out of what you believe, but you need to, at least for a moment, get in the head of the shorts and listen to what they're saying. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it. And ultimately, only time will tell, right? Really what I'm looking for with GameStop, if I get back on board as a long-term investor, is I want a transformational announcement of the company. It's not going to be good enough for me to hold it long-term for them to be selling used parts and plushies, collectibles, and eking out the barest of profits. That's not, I don't want to buy GameStop for that. I want to be in it for some transformational announcement from Ryan Cohen and the staff, and we just keep waiting every quarter, and I'm not hearing what I need to hear. And I think if they do that, then you'll see this price get some really, really good rocket fuel behind it, at least for a moment. Jorge says he makes money lending shares on high interest. I talked to some other people that are long-term holders of GameStop, Jorge, that are making money by selling covered calls against their position. So there's a lot of ways as you're treading water, if you're in the play, that you can make money on it. Now GME catching a green candle or two. Let's see if there's any other news. Nope. 1532, 1535, 1543. She's moving. Frederick says covered calls have been more lucrative for him than loaning out. What is the what's the cost to borrow average right now? 13%. Yeah, that's not that high, is it? That is a pretty low cost to borrow, considering that the short interest is 24%. Jay Brown says you work for the shorts. Is he the same one that said that a few minutes ago? You got wax in your ear, Jay? We just had this talk, my friend. I don't work for anybody. I'm a retail investor just like you guys. He's a little slow, Mr. Path. He said he's the same one. I work for myself, right? Anybody who's in my Discord, anybody who's watched this channel for the last 2 years, anybody who talks to me every day in our voice chats in the Discord or whenever we have them knows damn well I don't work for anybody. Because I say my DD, whatever's on my mind, whether it's popular or not. And most of what I'm analyzing is financial statements. Although from time to time we're playing stuff purely on momentum, purely on FOMO, purely on the chart if it's a short-term play. But long-term plays, we're looking very closely, intently at financial analysis, because the longer you hold something, the more that matters. Michael says, what do you think of Chewy and GameStop? Are you asking about a merger, Michael? Or what do I think about Chewy in general? I like their products. I'm a customer of Chewy. Jimmy Moe says he'll be in New York City with the Ape Father and crew. We will tell the masses in the city about GameStop. Please send us some pictures. Put them up on Twitter. Larry says, Tony, how's the truck buying an EV truck yet? It is still looks good, Larry. It's not that old. I just have a lot of miles on it. It's a 2014, and I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off because it's been paid for a long time. And I'm not really excited about going to spend another $90,000, $100,000 on a vehicle as long as that one still looks nice and drives well. And I'm approaching 375,000 miles on it, I think. I don't really drive it that much anymore because I work from home. And so my trips are relegated to going to the grocery store, doing errands, going to a movie. So I think it will, probably last me a little bit while longer. I'd like to just get 400,000 miles. That would be cool. Normally when I sell cars is when they hit the 100,000 mile mark. But this one's been very reliable. And Chevrolet sends me a bunch of free products. I'm registered with them as there's some club if you have a high mileage car. And every now and then I just get a package from them with some Chevrolet merch. But yeah, I've been pricing, building out looking at new vehicles for over a year now, trying to decide what I'm going to get. And I will, now that the EVs are starting to have trucks and SUVs, I'll add them into the mix. I haven't decided what I'm going to get yet. The previous two trucks I had a Ford F-150 and a Ford F-350 dually crew cab. The F-150 was just the cheapest one they had on the lot because it was a second vehicle for me. I just needed it for a work truck, a Home Depot truck, if you will, going up to Home Depot. My other car at that time was a Mercedes, and I was going loading 2x4s in a Home Depot in my Mercedes. I was like, this is really stupid. Just go buy a truck. So I did. And then eventually I got tired of having 2 car payments. So I traded both of those in for the F-350. Oh, it was a diesel too, the F-350. And then eventually when I sold my boat, I sold the big truck. The idea was I was going to buy the big, heavy towing capacity F-350 to take the Sea Ray down to the coast. Never did end up taking it out of the lake other than for maintenance. Larry says, if you get to 400,000, you better be on a TV commercial, right? Chevrolet, hello. I'll let y'all know when I get to 400,000. It might be a while since I'm not taking it on any road trips. I don't trust it that much. And it doesn't have any engine problems, but you don't want to be out on a road trip, I don't think, in a vehicle that's got that many miles. Deandre, yes, earnings are out. Damn, cats are fighting with each other in the background. Earnings are out. It was minus 1 penny on the earnings. So top line revenue was slight miss, and overall earnings was a slight beat. So that's why I think you're seeing the price hold in this range, at least for right now. And then I think we all expect Q4 will be obviously better than Q3. PNW Texan says he's got I guess you have a Toyota. He's got 219,000 miles, drive 30 miles a month, should last another 90 years. It is a pleasant experience not to have a $1,000 car payment a month. I'm enjoying that, and I'd just like that to last as long as possible. Jay says, you work for shorts. Remember when you got drunk and sold ape? I didn't sell ape because I got drunk. I was having some drinks, Jay, because I was glad to be out of the play on a run-up on ape. As you guys recall, when I forget how cheap ape was, I think AMC was around $8 and ape was somewhere around $1.50. I traded all my AMC for ape and then just patiently waited a few weeks for the lawsuit to when I sold that AMC, that was at a loss because you know I had been buying it in late part of 2021 higher than $8. So I was reading the court case and sharing my DD with you, what I thought was going to happen, that the judge would approve a settlement and then the reverse split would happen. And we talked many, many times that that might not work out well for investors if you hold through both the conversion and the reverse split. But it was a necessity for the company because they need to raise capital. So I made the smartest decision for myself to preserve my capital and minimize losses. So I swapped at that point from AMC, all of that money, a few seconds later over to APE, and then patiently waited. Then APE ran up when the settlement was approved, and I got out for a few weeks. Got out for a few weeks, took all of that money, waited a few weeks, and then bought back in around $7. And then sold that a couple weeks ago for between 10 and 11.20, made another 60%. Like, I don't know what you guys are here for, but I'm here to make money. And if you don't like that, this is not the right channel for you. After I sold on the run up to 11.20, I waited for it to come back down in the $7 range, and I'm back in again. And I will do the same thing over and over. You can sit there and be a victim, or you can take control of your finances. If you want to take control, if you want to make money, you might want to listen to this channel from time to time. If you want to be a victim, there's plenty. There's 100 other YouTube channels where you can go whine and moan and complain. Why is the price going down? What are we going to do? Just buy more. Oh. That was all fine and good in 2021. We're not in 2021 anymore. You guys wake the F up. Gus says, do you think AMC will drop under 6? Hard to say, Gus. Here's my general thoughts on AMC. Meanwhile, by the way, we're trading at $14.90 on GameStop. My general thoughts on AMC is Q4, the one we're finishing up right now, is going to not be good. So I got to worry about that. But at the same time, any day now, I'm expecting an announcement from AMC probably by the end of this week, that the dilution that they're doing is done. And that would be maybe not immediately on day one, but over a period of weeks. I think that would be some positive buoyancy for the stock price. I think the price is being suppressed right now by AMC selling daily into the trading volume. And institutions, not really wanting to jump in or do a whole lot of buy and hold while the dilution's still ongoing. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for to lever up my investment on AMC. But we gotta weigh the good news potentially coming soon that dilution is done versus Q4 is not going to be that great based on the current domestic box office. I'm just looking at it, putting the numbers in my spreadsheet. Right now, it's not a great story for Q4. But on the bright side, the actors' strike is done. The vote was officially finished last night. I think about 38% of the Screen and Actors Guild members showed up and voted, and it was roughly around 75% of them voted yes to approve the agreement. So that is behind us. Finally, the strikes, as of last night, done. That was another major anchor dragging on these movie theater stocks. We needed a resolution. We needed it over and done with. We got that. All right, Jay, you're welcome to have differing opinions, but when you start acting like a child, you're gone. So, been nice chatting with you. Go hang out on the clickbait channels. Let's I should have given him the. I should have given him. It's been a while since I've had to use it, but I was going to give him the drums. I forgot. It's been a while, Anya. Sorry. I am not in any I'm not in any biotechs right now, Pat. No. I watch the random one from time to time every day have these massive run-ups, but there's just so many of them. And I don't have time right now to spend picking a pharma company that is on the verge of announcing something. You guys are welcome to feed me some if you got a good one that you think is going to have an upcoming announcement. Always just drop me a comment on any video. I read your comments. If you're not blocked off the channel, if you're not a clown like Mr. J that has been permanently banned from the channel, if you're here and commenting, you're not blocked. And always feel free to leave me tickers. If you guys are dropping them in there, I will go look at them. And if I see something there, I'll make a video about it, or we'll talk about it. Michael says, have I looked at Chewy's earnings? I have not. Let's see what they got. Chewy net sales of 2.7 billion, improving 8% over the year. Let's pull this chart up real quick. Gross margin improved 10 basis points, net loss of 35 million, including share-based compensation expense and taxes. Basic and diluted loss per share, 8 pennies. All right, let me just pull up one other screen here and see what analysts were expecting. They're expecting 2.75 billion and it came in at 2.74 billion, and the earnings estimate was -6 pennies and it came in at -8. So there you go. That's why it's down. A slight miss on top line revenue and slight miss on net income, it looks like. I'm going to put GameStop up here while I pull up some other financials on Chewy. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters. Oh, wait, wrong. Go to the income statement. A nice, healthy chart of growing top line revenues. Let's just do this real quick. What are we looking for in general? We want to see a chart like this on top line revenue. Nothing but going up. We'd prefer to see operating income be positive, but you can see Chewy has a bit of an up and down issue with the operating income. This is not including the latest quarter, by the way. No dilution going on. And they've had positive earnings for 6 quarters. So I'd need to look at the 10Q to dig into the SG&A, see why that is going up. I mean, you do expect it to go up with as revenue is going up, but they had a slight drop from Q2 to Q3, and SG&A still went up. Balance sheet, they are stacking cash for the last 3 quarters. Current assets, 1.8 billion. Current liabilities, 1.9. There's a little bit of a problem on the balance sheet here. A little bit of a working capital deficit. Long-term debt, 488 million. That's nothing too crazy. And positive operating cash flow. So yeah, I mean, not a horrible story there, but they got a couple things they need to work on. The Inviting Path says, how could GameStop make $100 million less in revenue than expected, but beat the expected loss? I would imagine, and I'll do a 5-minute update video after I'm not live and I have time to read through the entire 10Q. I would imagine that it was through cost cutting. Michael says CNBC was saying a beat of 8 cents versus 6. Probably depends, Michael, if you're looking at GAAP earnings on Chewy or adjusted non-GAAP earnings. It gets confusing when you're listening to the media, whether it's TV or websites. You know, you got to look at, were analysts forecasting GAAP or non-GAAP? Is the number that the media is reporting GAAP or non-GAAP? And a lot of times they confuse the two. Jimmy says, have you had Burger King's new Whopper juice? Please tell me that is not a thing. Whopper juice. I have not. Are you fucking with me right now? I did see that McDonald's is coming out with a new concept restaurant. Did you guys see that one? What do they call it? Cosmic, I think. That's going to have a completely different product line. They're going to be rolling out some of these new stores in select locations. I do own McDonald's stock, so I probably need to do a video on that for you guys. I don't think I've ever done a video for you on McDonald's, period. But that might be an interesting topic to cover. Maybe talking about McDonald's once a quarter or so. I mean, these are slow-moving companies, so they don't need daily updates. Frederick says non-GAAP beats mean nothing. Yeah, I generally don't report on non-GAAP earnings. When I'm looking at doing my analysis, I'm looking at the GAAP numbers. I mean, it's an interesting footnote, and I think you should look at non-GAAP, but then you also need to look at the table to see how they balance, how they got from the GAAP numbers to the non-GAAP, so you understand that. It's basically saying if you take out these one-time expenses that aren't related to the operation of the business, this would have been our results. Okay. It would have been your results, but your results actually were the GAAP numbers. So that's what I focus on. I don't know if that's right or not. You can have a different opinion. That's how I do it. GameStop coming back down now after 20 minutes or so of enjoying a brief rally. Now at 1436. MD said Nikola is offering stock. No. Oh no. I don't own any Nikola, but I'm just saying if that's true, a collective oh no for shareholders. Down 27% in after hours. Holy smokes. Why can't Lucid do that? I have puts on Lucid. I know that all of these companies need to raise money, so not surprising that Nikola is doing offerings, common and convertible senior notes. Yeah, ouch. $100 million of common and $200 million of green convertible senior notes due 2026. Well, that is unfortunate for Nikola holders, but not surprising. I think I did a Nikola video, didn't I? A month or so ago. Mr. Star Guy says McDonald's and Krispy Kreme are in talks about a partnership back in November. That is interesting. I'm not following the McDonald's news as much as I should. You know, one thing, if you're buying blue chips and you got in at a good entry, is you don't have to babysit the news every day. Like I might check on these stocks, just the chart or the price, sometimes once a week, sometimes once a day. And I don't, as long as it's moving up and the economy is okay, I don't need to babysit them. So I would like to check into that too. If I do a video on the cosmic new stores from McDonald's, I'd like to look up and see if there was some talks about Krispy Kreme and McDonald's doing something together. There are some trailer restaurants here, you know, the little pop-up restaurants that offer things like a Krispy Kreme donut hamburger. That would be interesting if McDonald's and Krispy Kreme ever got together and did something like that. Not sure that is the healthiest choice, but when we're eating McDonald's, we're not going there for health typically, right? We're going there for the guilty pleasure. Alaska Custom Metal says, Tony, why didn't you tell me Mullen was such a shit company? I've done my best to be nice to Mullen investors, but tell you what was going to happen. And I'm still, it's like a fascinating story, right? We're coming up on a vote for Mullen of a third reverse split here in a couple weeks. They got a couple of lawsuits in the courts right now, trying to go after naked shorts and spoofing, when really I think they just ought to be looking at their lack of sales and their tremendous need for cash. And it's just unfortunate that Mullen didn't do a big SPAC or something like these other companies. They never had billions in the bank. So every time they need cash, they just run to the well, and the well is us. And so it becomes a dilution fest. And then on top of that, all the toxic lending that they had. So, not a good, it hasn't been good for Mullen investors, but I think I told you guys maybe a year ago, if Mullen dropped to 50 cents, I would buy some. This was like before any of the reverse split. So I did buy it and I held it for a day or two and then I sold it. Frederick says, naked shorting penny stocks is super easy. Put your boot on their neck and hold. Then under hold them under delisting. Then they cough up more shares to stay on exchange. One of the worst that I saw of that in recent memory, the two worst that I've seen have been Bed Bath & Beyond and Mullen, to be honest. I would group them together in the dilution fest, in an effort for the lenders to get their money out before the company went bankrupt. And how people can overlook that, I don't get it. By overlook it, I mean like you're reading the same filings I am, and you're saying this is not really happening. Oh, it was happening. Paula says, I'm surprised it is not running. Yeah, we did a poll about 30 minutes ago, Paula. I think 63% of the viewers were expecting the price to go up at market close before we got the news. Numbers came in. a little bit better on earnings than analysts were expecting. So, but not, there were people forecasting profits of $100 million, people on YouTube for this company. And yeah, sure, if you posted up some numbers like that, then it would run. But this is very close to expectations. So for me, seems normal for it to be hanging out right about here. I don't know. What do y'all think? The others of you. Paula thinks it should be running. What do you guys think? Frederick says retail expects SEC and FINRA to step in. I see that 1,000 times a day on Twitter, on all of the retail communities I follow. And I follow a lot of them. Most of them I'm not invested in, but I follow on them. I follow them because people are asking me about them. And just from a psychology point of view, it's fascinating to see people, how they react to certain things. And there's always these cries. You've seen it, Frederick, right? DOJ, what are you doing? SEC, where are you? FINRA, how can you allow this? None of these companies, Bed Bath & Beyond, Mullen, none of them are violating any laws. It is up to, they're doing what they have to do to try and survive. In the case of Mullen, in the case of Bed Bath & Beyond, it was just lenders trying to dump their shares onto retail that was willing to buy them before bankruptcy, because they weren't going to get anything in bankruptcy. The lenders that had preferreds or convertibles, I forget, whatever they had. We talked about it at the time. None of that is illegal. It's up to us investors to read the filings, understand what they really mean, and then make a smart choice. Now, some people are going to make a gambling choice, a speculative, financials be damned, filings be damned. I don't believe it. That's okay. You can do that, but you can't then go complain to the SEC, to the DOJ, to FINRA, because all of the filings, everything was disclosed and nothing was done illegally. You can't go in retroactively and ask for some enforcement when everything was properly presented to you and you chose to ignore it. Rolf, what's up? How about that IV today on GameStop? What did you do, Rolf? Did you pull the trigger before earnings, or are you still holding? I think Rolf had some options. Douglas, yeah, Marcus is still pumping Mullen on YouTube. What's the short interest on Mullen? I think it's around 1%. If it's accurate, which who the fuck knows? No, it says 13.5% on Ortex, estimated. So I mean that's not 1%. 13 is I'd like to see it over 20, but you can forget about what the short interest is if the company is going to be raising cash in the next 6 months, which they have disclosed, Mullen, that they need to do. Doesn't matter what the short interest is, as long as there's that ongoing dilution and the ongoing need for cash. Does Jorge says, does Nikola diluting mean short interest would drop? I would expect so, Jorge, yes. So, Rolf, did you check the price of those $12 puts before the market closed? Because they were up 100%, even though the stock was mostly trading flat during the day. Just on the IV, the increase on IV. I had a moment, Rolf, where I was like, should I just sell right now and take a double my money in one day? Or should I wait till the morning? David says Trading 212 is offering 6% for lending out Mullen. Yeah, I see the average cost to borrow on Ortex for Mullen is 29%. Every broker, every lender is going to have a different amount. 6% seems low, so if they're paying you 6% to lend your shares, they're probably collecting 20 to 30% and pocketing the difference, and they're allowed to do that. E-Trade does that too, right? E-Trade, from what I've been told by people that lend out their shares on E-Trade, they don't pay you the going rate and they don't negotiate. Here's what we're willing to pay, and take it or leave it. Douglas says shorting a 17-cent stock seems kind of crazy. Yeah, I agree with you, Douglas. Was that Douglas that said that? Yeah. Shorting it or buying puts seems kind of crazy to me, even knowing they have a reverse split coming up. Maybe shorting it after the reverse split, if you're a shorter, would make more sense if you can find the shares. Are there any YouTube channels you watch that are level-headed in their analysis? Yeah, there are a couple. Let's see if I can. There's a guy named Plain Bagel. You guys might know him. He's pretty level-headed and calm. Doesn't get into drama. He just tells you like it is. Patrick Boyle is good. What is the name of those other two guys? Used to be 3. Now it's 2 that are a value investing channel. I'm going to look and see if I can find it real quick. Well, but y'all probably know who I'm talking about. They got a value investor and a Everything Money. Now they're kind of controversial, just like as I'm branching out to talk to you guys more about the value investing plays that I'm doing. People don't like it for some reason. When we're talking about blue chip stocks that are getting beaten down, like some of the ones that I've done videos on, which I'm up fantastically on now in just the past couple months. As I was making those videos, go look at the comments. You're an idiot. This stock's going to zero. Disney's going to go bankrupt. They get a lot of shit on Everything Money for some of their value investing coverage. But it's often because we're covering stocks which are out of favor. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a good, solid company that I could hold 5 or 10 years. By solid, I mean they have a long history of growing revenue and profits, and they're experiencing a momentary hiccup, and the price drops. Everybody hates it. That's when I want to buy. And Everything Money, those guys often are doing the same thing. But it is amazing to me how people will hate on you for calling out a good blue chip stock, which is currently undervalued. Not one of those that I bought in August am I in the red in. There are some of them up 20, 25, 26% in 3 months. Frederick says Disney is going to implode in Q1. Implode up or down, Frederick? What are we talking here? How's Disney doing today? Let me look up here. 91 bucks. So I bought in at $79 and $83. So my cost basis is somewhere between that. I bought in first at 83 and then I increased my buy-in at 79. And if it fell to 50, I'd love to see that, but I don't know that will happen. And I'm really excited that this activist investor is working to try and make some changes on the board. That is really my whole thesis for Disney is management shakeup. Brown says, I like the cut of your jib. What fucking movie is that from? That phrase sounds oddly familiar. Who's at my door? Is that Amazon? Or is that... Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me go grab this package because you know how it is these days with Porch Pirates. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, Simpsons, Rolf. Okay. I used to watch that show religiously. There were a couple shows back in the 90s when I worked corporate. And we were these goofy 20-somethings. The Simpsons was something that you had to watch. And In Living Color, I remember Saturday Night Live, you know, you come into work the next day and all you would hear was these phrases repeated over and over. If you weren't watching those shows, you couldn't keep up with the cool kids. I think my favorite Simpsons episode ever was when they brought Homer in and they asked him to help design an automobile. But there were a bunch of good ones. I've forgotten most of them. Remember Rolfie? Homer was in there, I think, with his kids, and the engineers were on the phone with the boss complaining about Homer and all his unreasonable design ideas. And the boss said, now, I want you to repeat what you just said, but say completely the opposite. And he put him on speaker so that the kids could hear Homer being praised. Jim Carrey as a fireman. Man, there are so many stars that we watch nowadays that came out of Living Color, including J-Lo. what are the other actors on there? The one that played Muhammad Ali in the movie. He's like, J-Lo, yeah, I remember when she was one of our fly girls. Y'all call her J-Lo now, but I remember back when she was hey-ho. She was nobody back then. She was like a dance coordinator. She really, sprungboard her career from In Living Color, as far as I'm concerned. Married with Children, yeah, that was a good one back in the day. I don't watch any of those shows anymore, but Jim Carrey, it was Fire Marshal Bill. Let's just say you walk in a room and it's completely engulfed in flames. What are you gonna do? Atrium Equus, what's up? Late to the party, pretty mid earnings. Yeah, very close to expectations, my friend. Slight miss on top line revenue and a slight beat on actual earnings. Clark, I have not been following Cardano, so I would be remiss to try and give you my opinion on what's going on with Cardano. I haven't owned it since 2021. Let's see if I have the chart up here, though. ADA, I do. Here's where we were back in 2021 at $3. We're currently at 46 pennies. I mean, I was very bullish on Cardano back in the day, Clark. That's what I can tell you. And then I sold it and I haven't looked back. So not sure I could be any help on that one. Although, much like I said, I would like to start covering some metal mining stocks maybe once a month and bring on guests. I would also like to maybe start doing once a week an evening live stream just talking about crypto, since it seems to be waking up again. In fact, one of my friends texted me today. He's like, Tony, I'd like to talk to you about crypto. And I think he told me a week or two ago, not the one that I was talking about, my crypto buddy over the last couple of years. This is another friend. He's like, Tony, I just turned $15,000 into 400K on shitcoins. We need to talk with this guy. We need to talk with this guy. We need to get him on the channel. We need a brain dump. So I'll see if I can make that happen here in coming weeks. And I would like to not be pumping XRP on 20 videos a day, but just have a crypto evening live stream and talk about ones that we think have some potential and what is going on with the main coins. I'm going to need to dedicate some of my week to getting back up to speed on some of these projects, though, because I haven't, like I said, I put all my crypto, I sold most of the shit coins, and I put the good ones in cold storage. I haven't even checked to see what they're worth right now. No earnings call, Dylan. No, sir. I have the text here if you guys want to hear what he told me he made his money on. Let me pull it up. I haven't even looked at any of these. Maybe, let's see. none of these even ring a bell to me. So here's the ones that he listed in the text. BRC20, TRAC, TRAC, GHSY, what the fuck is that? Ghosty Cash. And the last one, VMPX. So I got some homework to do, and I'll see if I can get him on. And I need to check with my other buddy that had, I think he had 7 digits in crypto before all the exchanges got hit, and he was staking a lot of it, and I'm imagining he probably got burned. He was in multiple exchanges, but I know for a fact that he was in some of the ones that went bankrupt. So I haven't talked to him. I'm scared to ask how bad he got burned, but I'm going to be seeing him next week. So I'll do a status check. Clark says, I'm really glad you talk about other investments because some of these guys won't. I don't understand the thinking, Clark, of not being broad in your ability to look at investments. I'm happy to talk to you guys about any type of investment that I have experience with, whether it's starting your own business, working a corporate job, how to move up in corporate life, real estate, rental properties, whatever. I mean, I've done a lot of things, and I have a lot of interests, including crypto. Although, like I said, I've kind of parked that for now. We've been distracted on some other things, but it might be time to start looking at crypto again. Hopefully, when I open up my wallet, I'm pleasantly surprised. The only thing that I don't have any real experience in is bond trading. The third one, what was the third one? Someone is asking. BRC20, TRAC, TRAC. The next one was GHSY. And the last one was VMPX. Those are the 4 that he texted me about. And, oh, is MOG a coin? Yeah, MOG coin was on his list. I know nothing about any of these. I'm just telling you what he told me he's looking at right now. Oh, and I was incorrect. He says I turned a $15,000 account into $450K. I said 400K. My apologies. The main crypto guy that I talked to back in 2021, you're asking, is he holding? When the exchanges started imploding, I stopped bringing up the topic to him, but I will ask him next week how he made out. Now that we're kind of over the raw, bleeding, emotional pain that everyone that got stuck in that. I was very lucky. I was not. I asked him, like, don't you think it's really weird that they're paying you these obscene interest rates? Like, where's that money coming from? He's like, I don't know, but it's great. I was a little more skeptical, so I had a little bit staked in Genesis, but as soon as the first exchange imploded, I pulled all that. I pulled everything out of Coinbase, out of Genesis, and put it all in cold storage. Because I didn't know where the implosions were going to stop. Staking, Clark, is basically you take your coins and you park them on an exchange, and they pay you an exorbitant interest rates. Now, initially, what they're trying to do, Clark, is get liquidity into their exchange. They want your coins there so they can trade them on paper or loan them out to someone else. And that's all well and good as long as crypto is going up. But once things start getting hectic or bad and people start withdrawing, then it becomes a race for the exits. And if you weren't quick enough, your coins are still staked and parked, but they have nothing left. And that's what happened. That's how many so many people got burned on these exchanges. But the reason they pay you these high interest rates is they're trying to get coins into their exchange for liquidity, to move coins quickly between folks, to create volume trading, and more importantly, for them to lend out, because they were making even more money than they were paying you on lending them out often. Clark says there's one guy that will only talk about AMC. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, Clark. He has me blocked because we did the hashtag evolve. Time to get back to talking about how to make money, Clark, not spend our life talking about one stock. But I respect his work, even though he apparently hates me now. We chose a different path. Clark says he regrets dumping 80K into AMC. All I can do is learn from it, and I have learned from it. That is the most important lesson on any ticker, Clark. Whether it was Mullen or BBIG or GameStop or AMC. Gosh, I mean, the list is endless. I have a folder I created of retail plays that crashed. AVCT is in there. Apron, Bingo. What else? Phase, GovX, ILAG, MMTLP, Party. All of these, where people got really bad DD and believed it instead of looking at the financials. The most important thing you can do, if you make one of those mistakes, that's fine. Consider it tuition. Have the ability to self-reflect and figure out what you did incorrectly. Maybe listening to the wrong people, maybe ignoring filings, maybe not ever looking at a financial statement, and resolve to fix those things, fix what you didn't do, and every day try and get a little bit better about real analysis, and you can recover. I was just talking to another trader that had lost some money on AMC, and he said he made $4,000 last week, I think is what he said, trading Cinemark, just jumping in and jumping out. And he said, I'm almost back to completely recovering all of my losses on AMC. So find a good group, Clark. People you trust, people that are being honest, people that are looking at financial statements that are not emotionally tied to a play, no matter what, and just trying to hang out and learn. There is zero reason to stick in one play and watch it melt down to zero. Douglas says staking reduces the circulating number of a coin. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, Douglas. You could be right. I always viewed it as if you're starting up a new exchange, they want your coins, they want your stuff parked there to increase the value and the liquidity of their exchange. But I'll have to look into that. I don't know. You could be right. JJ says, I hope we get a MOAS before I turn 61, 6 more months. I'm looking at, for any investment in AMC. I talked about this on the evening live streams, the last couple of them. I'm expecting 2024 to be relatively flat, similar to 2023. So I think it'll be a year of volatility trading if that's what you want to do. If you want to buy and hold, I think you're going to be in a parking lot for 2024. There'll be some up and down movements, but there's not going to be enough movies to, in my forecast right now, and this is subject to change, right? Things could change. Now that the actor strike is over, maybe we'll get some shuffling around of 2024 movies, but it's looking like it'll be flat. And so really what I'm looking for, if I was investing for the long term in movies, is hoping that the industry recovers in 2025 to 2019 levels. Michael says, check out ALT. Wow. No, I did not catch that, Michael. You guys need to start dropping me some comments. If I want you guys to notify me on 11/24 to 11/29. Hey, Tony, check alt. It's starting to run. Look at that. $2 up to $7.62. There's just so many, and I really am either spending my day reading stuff. I'll get my trades in typically early in the morning on the stuff I'm watching. I haven't been doing a whole lot of day trading. I'm setting up plays for like a week or a month if they're options, and then I'm identifying targets on some blue chip companies, and then just keeping up with all the retail nonsense. So for the past month or so, I haven't been like waking up at 4 a.m. and looking at the runners of the day. But man, yeah, that's a beautiful chart. Oh, I was going to see what was the news on it. Phase 2 obesity drug data. All right. 6 days ago. Congrats if you were in that one. I'd love to catch some of those. Sometimes I do. I've been in a really bad habit for the past probably 4 weeks of not going to sleep till 2 a.m. in the morning. And it's really hard to wake up at 4 a.m. and start day trading when you're up till 2 a.m. So I'm trying to readjust my sleep schedule to maybe be asleep by 11 or 12. Wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and then take a nap after I'm done trading for the morning. But I haven't quite recalibrated yet. Clark says, Tony, it is you and your group that I trust. Well, I hope that we continue to earn that trust, Clark, and I thank you. I know a lot of people hate me because I make trading decisions that they don't agree with, and I get it. But like I said, we're not for everybody. but I do my genuine best to provide you factual info and just common sense viewpoints on these plays that are not grounded in emotion or hope. Costco made an all-time high today, MD says. Beautiful. I haven't even checked it, but Costco is one of my best performing positions. I do own Costco. 607. Beautiful. Yeah, today 608.88 set a new 52-week high. Unbelievable. All right, love it. I am a Costco owner and a member. Larry says, have you ever given a dissertation on PE ratios? I have in the Discord many times. They're probably sick of me talking about PE ratios. You're not in my Discord, are you, Larry? I don't know if you're joking, because everyone always asks me, what do you think the proper valuation of AMC is? All right, well, let's have the PE ratio talk. I feel like I probably piss people off when I talk about PE ratios, Larry. We get very nerdy and financial. Gus says, how about we discuss different strategies for all of us bag holding AMC? Averaging down is an option, but honestly, I don't trust any AMC anymore. So there are several options that we talk about in the Discord and that I've talked about with you guys on lives, but I know you haven't been, some of you, in all the live streams. One option, obviously, is to buy and hold and average down. But my opinion, and I could be wrong, is that you're going to be flat for the next year on the price range. There'll be volatility, right? Bouncing between $5, $6, 10, 11, 12, 15, maybe 20, who knows? Let's make up your number. Let's just say it stays in a range of where it's at. You don't want to be, do you want to be sitting in that range trying to average down for the next year, or do you want to be a little more proactive and try and recoup your money faster if you want to stay in that play, right? Another option is just sell it all and move it into something that has a higher probability of going up. Some of you don't want to do that because you are waiting for a squeeze, and I get it. So I'm not here to tell you what to do, but since you asked about different options, there are a couple options, right? Just buy and hold, average down, move it all out into something else that's more safe and has a higher probability of going up. Or one of the strategies that I and many other people have taken, because we are experts now in everything about this stock, is pay more attention to the chart and be less emotional about it. So I'm buying what I think is the dip and selling into what I think is the rip. Even if that means buying at 7 and selling at 11. Do the math on that percentage gain. If you could do that 4 times a year, make 50%. And then when it comes back down from 11, buy again. And rinse and repeat. You could do that. While you're holding it, whether you're doing that strategy or you're just buying and holding and averaging down, why aren't you selling covered calls to bring in extra income? That's immediate cash in your pocket from option premium. The risk is if it squeezes and you sold a covered call for $12, your stock's going to get taken away from you at $12. So that has risk, but it is a way to make money. And that is what I'm doing. While I'm holding it, in the periods that I'm holding it right now, I'm selling covered calls on it because I've detached from this necessary belief that there's going to be a squeeze. Like I don't see any short-term catalyst for a squeeze. So if I'm holding AMC, I'm going to be selling covered calls on it to generate income, or you could also look at it as reducing your basis or putting some profits in your pocket to offset any losses you have. A lot of different ways you could look at it. The other thing, if you're doing that strategy of I want to buy when it's cheap, then I would say to you, why, if you want to buy, if AMC goes to $6, what are you waiting on right now? If you've got $600 cash in your account, sell a covered call, sell a cash secured put. Because if you're telling me right now, Tony, I'm just waiting for it to go to $6 and I'm going to buy another 100 shares, then sell a put. You'll collect immediate cash. And if it goes below 6, you will be buying those shares for 6 times 100 for every put that you sell. So you don't have to just sit there and be a victim and wait for it to go to 6. You could sell a put. You will be obligated to buy at 6. But if it doesn't go to 6, meanwhile, you generated income immediately. So it just involves you learning a little bit more about how these things work and taking a little bit more active charge of your trading style. And I know a lot of people that are doing all of those strategies right now, and not just on AMC, on everything in their portfolio. It's essentially called the wheel strategy, and you can go look that up. It's a very well-known trading strategy. If you're eyeing a stock that you want to buy and it's not quite at that price yet, people will sell puts. I'm willing to buy, let's pick one. I'm willing to buy Finger at $3. Well, then sell puts on Finger at $3. You'll get immediate cash, whether it's $10, $20, $90 for every contract. And if it drops to that price, you'll buy it. You'll get exercised, and you'll be obligated to buy. But if it doesn't, that's just free money. And so we're doing that on a lot of stocks. If you have over 100 shares of anything, I'm often looking at my stocks that are trading flat and trying to figure out where in 30 days where do I think it's likely to go up to, and then I'll just sell a covered call right above that. It's way too complicated just to try and talk about here in 60 seconds, because you got to look at your basis. What did you buy in the stock at? What are you willing to let it go at? And so I'm not trying to give you an options training course, but I'm giving you ideas of things to look into. Yeah, if you're way underwater on something, you might not want to sell covered calls, because you could have your shares taken away. And if you're selling a covered call on AMC at $15 and it runs to 17 or 30, and you're going to be out at 15, that is the risk, right? That is where you got to get to this point, and everybody has their different time when they get to it, where you separate emotions and hope and just be cold-blooded and emotionless in your analysis. And I let the hope of what was going to happen with AMC dictate how I traded it from 2021 till August of 2023. Very differently than how I trade every other stock. And as we entered 2023, I started realizing I can't just treat this like a special child anymore. I've got to be more calculating, more cold-blooded, more emotionless about how I look at AMC. And I've talked to a lot of people that finally accepted that moment. And I still talk to a lot of people that say, I can't get over that hump yet. That's fine. I'm not here to try and convince you to do anything. You do what is best for you always. But someone just asked the question, what can we do in the meantime? There are a couple options. Go read about the wheel strategy. See if it might be right for you. Walt wants to know, what is the best and friendliest user platform for options? I trade them on any broker that I have money in, Walt. Which is the easiest? I mean, they all are a little bit complicated if you don't know what you're looking at. But let me give you something easy to look at, Walt, for trading options. If you're new to trading options, bookmark this site. It's free. Optionstrat.com, like strategy. Option. I'll show you. And I try and do this before any potential trade. Now you can pay for a membership here and get some more advanced tools, but the basics of it are free. We go up here to build and we want to buy, let's say we want to bet that GameStop's going to go up. Now let's pick something that's not as volatile. Now let's just do GameStop. If we think that GameStop is going to maybe run over $15 by January 12th. So we'll go up here to the top, we'll pick the date. And right here on this slider, we can pick the strike price. Let's say 20 bucks. 20 bucks by January 12th. And the implied volatility, it has right in here now 124%, but I bet it is higher than that. Let me just double check. That's about right. It usually brings in the current implied volatility. And on the range, let's increase the prices that we can see on this table. This is just adding more price. This is if we slide it to the left, we get only $12 to $17. If we slide it to the right, now we're looking at $1 to 29 bucks. This tells you your payout as it goes through these different prices. And this calendar here at the top shows you, as the longer you hold this call option, if it doesn't do what you want, how fast you're going to lose money. And it shows you at what price over time you would make money and what percentage gain you would make. So if you're new to trading options, this is just a good basic tool. Before you think about buying anything, oh, this one ran up, I'm going to buy puts and I'm going to get rich. Or I think this one is going to run up, so let me buy calls. Just drop it in here. It only takes a couple seconds, and check your work. Make sure that what you're thinking is actually going to pay out what you think it's going to pay for the risk of that option. Because if you're not right, the longer you hold it, the higher it needs to go for you to make some money. Just a pretty cool, free little visual tool. Michael says, what's the deal with Finger? Same deal with GTII, Clark. There are a couple of very loud pumpers in Finger and GTII that, in my opinion only, well, not my opinion only, they are lying to people about the shorts in Finger and GTII. They are taking the daily short volume and adding it up and calling that naked shorts. And I do not agree with that methodology. In my opinion, it's either purposeful lying or just a horrific misunderstanding of how things work. I know for a fact that the two people I'm talking about are paid. These two people on Twitter. And a lot of people think that they are very believable for whatever reason. And Finger and GTII got some FOMO pumps. But the general DD being put out by the people pumping these plays, the two head honchos of it are incorrect, and they've roped in a lot of other level 2 influencers who don't know any better and are putting out the same DD. They're just parroting what they heard, and it is very unfortunate. Could Finger get another FOMO run? Sure, but Finger also needs to raise money. That's in their own documents from the company. Read the 10Q. They're going to need to dilute to increase the deposits they have with the mobile companies in China to grow their business. They're telling you, we're going to dilute. So that's what's going on with Finger, in my opinion. I don't know that they're actively diluting right now, but it would be something I'm concerned about in that stock. And I have been playing Finger for momentum trades. I'm certainly not playing it for a short squeeze to $1,000 life-changing money play. Playing it for a couple dollars up, a couple dollars down. And it's irritating to me that it's stuck right now at $4 because I need it to move one way or the other. I don't care which way. DeepFact says MMAT is worse than finger licking and the millionaires. Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to MMAT. But never something that I gave a thumbs up on this channel. In fact, the opposite for 2 years. If you guys have ever asked me about MMAT, it was stock to be avoided. DeepFact says GME's fundamentals are better than AMC. No doubt their balance sheet is legions better than AMC. DeepFacts. They have no debt and they've got a fuck ton of cash. And the balance sheet is AMC's biggest Achilles heel, right? And then when you look at the income statements, then it's a swap. AMC has growing revenue on the verge of, well, maybe not profitable till 2025, but they are in a recovering business model. And GameStop is struggling with increasing revenues. So they both have their pros and cons, but as far as like which one is at risk of bankruptcy sooner, it would definitely be AMC because of the bad shape that the balance sheet's in. That's why they're raising money right now. They're trying to fix it, and they're trying to survive long enough for the industry to recover. GameStop's got an issue of they're operating in a declining industry, and they need to pivot to something else. So I wouldn't call GameStop a safe play, but it's probably safer in terms of risk than AMC. Do I do iron condors? Pat, I've looked at doing some, but typically I'm just doing just simple long calls or long puts, or selling covered calls, or selling cash secured puts. At the point that I start doing some more exotic multi-leg options trades, I'll make some videos for you guys on it. I like to keep it simple. Like, I have a thesis based on my DD and my understanding of this company and what I expect that is going to happen based on either an earnings or an announcement, or just simply tracking the momentum on the chart. I like to make a simple bet that it's going to move up or down. We take a look at LTC, and is that Litecoin? Grayscale Litecoin Trust. God dang it. Ooh, it looks better on the hourly. So yeah, I'm assuming Litecoin's pumping right now. 450 up to 10 bucks. I have never owned Litecoin. Back in the day when I was holding a lot of different tier 2 and altcoins, not a lot, you know, I had maybe half a dozen. Litecoin was not one that I ever invested in, so I'm not the biggest Litecoin expert. But the chart's looking good. Pumping along with Bitcoin and Ethereum. A little bit of consolidation right here. Let's see if this is it mirroring Bitcoin? What happened to my chart? All right, there is Bitcoin. I have Litecoin on here anymore. Yep, very similar movement to Bitcoin. Although it looks like in terms of percentage, Litecoin had a bigger run, right? $3.80 up to 10 bucks. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. GameStop now at 1441. We're going to be wrapping this up in about 10 minutes, so get your best questions ready. So Funny 37 is asking about cash secured puts. So two different plays on puts. If you just want to pick a stock and say, I bet that it's going to go down and I want to make some money if that happens. Or if you're holding a stock and you want to hedge against the price going down, you could just buy a put. So if the stock goes down, you make money. It could just be a plain bet, right? Just buy puts on a stock you don't own. If the stock goes down, you'll probably make some money on those puts. And if you're holding a stock and you want to hedge against, like, I want to keep holding this, but I don't want to be hurt if the price goes down, you could buy a put also. This is what hedge funds and institutions do every day They buy puts to hedge and offset any losses of the stock that they intend to hold. They'll keep holding the stock, but they'll make money as the price falls from the puts. That's hedging. So those are the two basic ways you could use puts. But there is also, if you'd like to get into a stock to buy it at some price lower than the current price, and you have the cash available in your account, then you can sell a cash secured put. And you will collect immediate income. Let's say you sold $1,000 worth of cash secured puts on stock XYZ. Maybe you sold 10 contracts. That $1,000 that is in your account is going to be basically collateral. You're not going to be able to use it. It's going to be parked because it's collateral for the puts that you sold. And if the price falls down to the strike price that you had, the broker is going to buy you in. You're going to buy those shares. But why would you do that? You know, if the stock is here and you want to buy down here, sell the cash secured put. Your money's going to sit there, and if it drops to that point, your broker is going to exercise your option and you're going to buy the shares. It's going to happen automatically. If it doesn't get down to here, you just get to keep the money from selling the put. And then you can do it again if you sold it on a weekly or a monthly when the time is up. If it didn't get exercised, if the stock didn't go down, you can then repeat that to infinity. You can just keep doing that and collect money. Some people do it on weeklies. Some people do it on a monthly basis. It really depends on your outlook for the time frame of what you think the price of the stock is going to do. And I know if you're not used to doing options, all of that sounds, to people that know nothing about options, I'm trying to say it as plainly as I can, but it is still confusing to people that are new. There's people in the Discord that I've had many conversations about it, and they're like, I still don't get it. Keep reading, keep watching videos, and set up a paper trading account and start practicing. If you think, I almost got it, do a paper trade. You can do paper trades on many different brokers. I had a website I was going to give you guys. I don't remember what it is right now, where you can, without a broker, you can still do paper trades and practice these techniques and see how it works. Sometimes the best teacher is experience, but it's better to not have your experience cost you money if you don't quite understand what's going on. Anya says it is the jargon that's intimidating. I get it. It is. It's also, Anya, I think, a lot of people have been poisoned mentally in the retail community that options are somehow bad. And so there's a lot of poorly held beliefs, is the nicest way I could say it. It depends, I guess, how you view them on what your goal is. My goal is to make money, and in certain circumstances to reduce risk. Like the puts I have on the SPY right now is a hedge against the market crashing. Cost me a little bit of money for insurance to buy those puts, and if the market doesn't crash, then I just lost the money. That was insurance. But if the market tanks in December, then I will recoup some of that by having those index puts. No earnings call, Tito. Just a press release. Just scroll back in the video to where I had the press release up on the screen and we talked about it for about 5 minutes. Right after the market closed. So you'll have to scroll back about under $6. And I sold covered calls at $6. So I bought it somewhere. I forget exactly where. Somewhere around here in the 5s. And I sold covered calls at $6. And I think they expire next week. So if let's say I bought it at $5 and I sold covered calls, that's extra income. And if it closes above $6 next Friday, my shares will be taken away for $6. But if I bought at $5, I'm making $1 per share profit plus the income from selling the covered calls. And I'm okay with that, right? If it closes at $6.30 next Friday, I'm still going to come out ahead because I don't remember what I sold those covered calls for, but I'm pretty sure it was more than 30 cents. If it had run up to $9, obviously I'm leaving a lot of profits on the table, but I carefully try and say in my analysis, where is it likely to run to and where would I be comfortable selling at? And I'll pick my strike price for selling covered calls somewhere around there. And then if next Friday my shares get taken away, I collect all that money. I already collected the money from the premium, and then I'll just wait for it to come back down and do that again. I'll rebuy the shares. Now I have a profit. I'll rebuy the shares on the dip and do the same damn thing. We love these volatility plays where you can just keep doing that. Eatfact says he lost 10K over 4 months buying calls on UVXY a year ago, and now I buy puts weekly and make $50 a week. It's all about finding a strategy that works. And yeah, if you're losing money, then adjust your strategy. Nothing wrong with that. I think my biggest loss ever on options was I think it was one of the cruise stocks. It's been a couple years now, but I think it was Royal Caribbean that I bought at what I thought was a decent strike price in 2021 as a recovery play. And I think it was a leap. I think my expiration was January 2023. And it basically didn't do shit until the leaps expired. And then it decides to run up. It's like they fucking know. We all had leaps for January. Like, we're not going to let this thing go up for a year. There was about 2 days in that whole year and a half where I could have sold it for a profit. And I was like, no, it's going to go higher. Never fucking did. Yeah, I lost thousands on those fucking leaps. But I was trying to play a recovery play on a shitty company. Cruise lines being loaded up with debt, thinking that people would buy the price up, and it just never fucking did. That goes back to that whole talk we had about be careful holding something for a long time if the company has a lot of debt and they're losing money. Tread cautiously. I will think more critically next time. I don't often do leaps, but I do from time to time. All right. We are at 2.5 hours on the live. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. My wife should be getting home from... Oh, no. She won't be getting home for an hour and a half, but I need to eat, to be honest. So if you are just joining in, GameStop did not have a call today. We kind of knew that, but we knew they'd be dropping earnings after the market closed in a press release. That's what they did. You can scroll back on this live stream to about 10 minutes after market close. You'll see up on the screen where I put up the press release and we kind of talked through it. In general, just to recap, a slight miss on top line revenue. And from what I read, it looked like it better than anticipated on the earnings per share. I will go through the 10Q in detail and provide you guys a 5-minute summary video some point, maybe tomorrow. That'll be my quarterly update on GameStop. And we are expecting a good Q4 for GameStop because it is always their best quarter. So we'll have to see where it goes from here, what the market does in the next coming weeks and days. Whatever your trading style is on this, good luck to you. Feel free to drop me a comment if you're watching this on replay. And yeah, I'll be around in the Discord for those of you that are members of the channel. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you best